What is going on, my Awaken friends? I'm Bones88, and today we're going to have a basic short video about gear sets, what to do with them, what they are, and what the best ones are, what ones you should save, all that good stuff. Just tips and tricks. This video isn't for you in-game players. This is for the beginner players, the guys that are coming in from global launch and all that good stuff. This game's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I'm seeing more people come in masses. I'm seeing ads everywhere. So these basic videos are very important for you newer people. If you guys are confused with gear sets, where you should put them and all that, you're not alone, okay? It's very confusing, and that's why I'm here. So really quickly, there's all kinds of ways to get gear, right? It's pretty much given to you in every single mode in one way or another. But the best way to farm it when you're a beginner is an adventure or campaign. Now, every chapter has a different kind of set that drops. The harder the campaign, the better stars you get, right? But whether you're a mythic, whether you're in common or hard, it's the same kind of sets that drop, but the higher level you go up, the better stars you get, right? This is the beginner way of farming gear. If you're just beginning, if you only have a couple level 60 characters or whatever, this is how you farm gear. So make sure you're doing it through this. Now, the in-game way is going to the dungeons, going to Arcane Dominator, and actually taking on these unique dungeons, unique bosses that require different infinities, different comps. This is the in-game way. You're going to get the best gear, the best sets right here. But you can't worry about this until you have several level 60s, and even then, you're not even going to be ready for it. I'm not even ready for it, really. I'm level 50, and I could do this. I have so many other things that I need to work on that I can't worry about this right now. So it's going to take you several months to get to here. So if you're a beginner, don't even worry about farming it here, but this is where you want to end up down the road. This is where you're going to get the best of the best. And as you see, every dungeon has 3 different types of sets. Now that we're here, I'm going to click on the first and work our way down, and we're just going to go over each set, what kind of character you want to use with them. So at first, Roaring Tulpa. You click down here and it shows you the 3 sets that you get and what they do. So we have Terra, Vanguard, and Rage. These 3 types of sets here are beginner stage sets. You're going to get these pretty quickly when you're starting. So you're going to be using these 3 sets quite a bit, actually. So our first one we have here is the Terra set. If you see a 2 next to it, you see that? Well, and you see a 4 next to it, that's telling you how many pieces of gear that it requires to make that set. So if you want a Rage set and you want 20% crit rate, you have to have 4 pieces that are Rage. So our first one, we have a Terra set, and you only need 2 pieces to make a set. That means you can have the benefit of 15% health 3 times. So in total, you can have up to 45% health. You will use this set a lot on all kinds of people. Not everyone, but any kind of tank, anyone you want to survive, even supports like Joseph, like William, people who you want to stay alive as long as possible, so they're giving you defensive up and attack up and healing you and all that good stuff. A Terra set you will use from beginning to end. This is one of the most important sets, really. Now, if you have attacker, you're not going to use this, right? But there's many characters you're going to use that uses a Terra set. All right, Vanguard. Vanguard gives you plus 15% defense, and it only takes 2 pieces of equipment to make, so you can have up to 45% defense. So Vanguard isn't used as much as like Terra is, but I feel like if I don't have the right pieces for Terra, I can sub in some Vanguard and still get some survivability out, right? If you can, you want to use Terra over Vanguard. So what's really important is that you read each person's kit, because every kit's different. You could take 5 attackers, and it doesn't mean you just slap attack gear on them, right? They all have something unique in their kits that you need to pay attention to, because one piece of gear might be more beneficial to them than the other attacker. So, for instance, Vanguard, Hakron, the dwarf. His kit is based on his max defense. So instead of putting Terror on him, you want to make sure you get as much defense as you possibly can on the guy. So, you know, it's just different. You really have to make sure you pay attention to the kits, and that's why it's important to join Discords, to join Reddit and all that stuff, so you can ask people questions and their opinions. That's the best way you're going to get the best advice for who to put on what character. Next up, we have Rage. Rage takes 4 pieces, so the max you can get with this is 20% crit rate. Rage is a wonderful beginner's attack champion set. The thing is this falls off pretty quickly, because by the time you start getting 5 and 6 star gear, you can find that 20% crit rate in a secondary. So I don't see very many people, including me, using rage after a certain point, because you just put all attack on that character and get your crit rate through secondaries. So don't be, sad if you're using them right now, because I am in my free-to-play account too, but it gets to a certain point where you're not going to use rage anymore. So moving on to the next dungeon, the Magisteria. Alright, the first set we have is the Raider set. It only requires 2 pieces of equipment to apply. Each set gives you plus 15 speed. So if you put all Raider set on somebody, you can have up to 45 speed. That's pretty good. And there are characters that just require speed. There's a couple characters that their kit depends on how much speed you have on. There's people like Windstrex that you want to go first, right? Because she's got all the buffs up. She can cool down a person's ultimate ability. Lots of things like that. You want them to be fast. So you'll find that you'll use this Raider set even into the end game. And even putting one Raider set and then the rest something else is fine too. That plus 15 speed isn't amazing, but it's still going to help a lot of characters, especially Arena. In Arena, speed is key. So you got to kind of think, maybe even though this attack champion's best with all attack, maybe you have to make a sacrifice and put a Raider set and get a little bit more speed. Get some speed boots, because in Arena, speed is everything. Next up, we have an Avarice set. It takes 4 pieces to make a set. This is an awesome set of gear. What it does is it grants a character 50% bonus damage when attacking over an area. It can only be triggered once every round, which is fine. That's still pretty frequently. That's huge. This is something that you want to use on that AoE nuker that really helps you out in campaign and stuff like that. You put it on this. Someone who does a lot of area damage, AoE, where it hits more than one person, this is a great set for this. A person that comes to mind is Hydricia. Another thing though is there are some characters that do big AoEs, but it doesn't mean Avarice is the best set, right? Because maybe you can just stack a warrior and a attack set on him, and it might do just as good. That's where the kit comes in. That's where asking people's opinion, because you by yourself, you're only going to be able to test so much. Even as a content creator, I can only test so much because I don't have a test account. I don't have $1 million to spend on everything, right? So talking with your peers and getting opinions from other people goes miles upon miles for progress in this game. And I can't stress that enough to people. But still, Avarice is a set that in-game players use a lot. And like the main person I think of is Hydricia, someone like that. So if you have an Avarice set, try it out. Put it on people, because you won't be disappointed. And another thing I like about this set is it's guaranteed 50% bonus damage every time you do an AoE. Every time. There's no chance. It's not a 50% chance. It's every time. It's just adding 50. That's huge. That's quite a bit of damage being added onto it. This is a great set. Hold on to these Avarice sets. Use them when you can, because you won't be disappointed. You're not going wrong by putting an Avarice set on an AoE person. Even if there's a better build for that person, this is still going to help you out no matter what. Next up, we have Dragon Scale. Dragon Scale requires 4 pieces of armor, and I don't really like it. I don't know anyone who uses it. There's going to be someone on the comments saying, that's not right. 3 people use it and they're insane, right? There's probably use for it somewhere, but I don't know of anyone that uses it. I don't know any players that have talked about using it. It's not that great. Does it keep you a little bit more survivable? Yes. Maybe putting this on certain characters can counter certain really good characters, right? So I'm sure there's some insane build that you put this on a certain team and it can counter other really, really good characters. So I'm not saying it's not useful, but this is probably one of the worst sets in the entire game. So if I were to say to you, like, if you could get rid of one set, I wouldn't keep around Dragon Scale. Like I just said, there's probably somewhere where it's useful, but I haven't heard or seen or anything where it is. So this is one of the worst sets in the entire game. So moving on to the Queen of Tides. Next up, we have a Warrior set. The Warrior set requires 2 pieces of gear. You're going to use this into the end game. It's one of the most prevalent sets in the entire game, and you get it from beginning to end. You're going to use this everywhere. This is such a great set that I would keep all warrior pieces that you can, because it's just great. There's so many DPS, so many attackers in this game that it's almost overwhelming how many there are. So you can't have enough good warrior pieces. So make sure you're keeping all of them, checking them out. Of course, there's going to be some crappy pieces, right? You can get rid of those. But this is one of the most important sets in the game. Because to be honest, there might be better builds, but if you have a straight up attacker, you can just slap, 3 sets of this on someone and it's going to do work. It's good. You're still going to see progress. You can't go wrong doing that. And that's simple. It's easy. There's tons of those pieces. You can find them. They're not hard. So one of the best sets in the game. So this next set, Cursed, which requires 4 pieces to make a set, is one of the best too. You're going to find people telling you to put Curse set on everybody on the end game. Once I got to the end game and started asking people's opinions, everyone's like Curse set, Curse set, Curse set, Curse set on tons of attackers. So this tells me, just by talking to my peers, that this may be the end game, the best set you can get. Only because everyone's recommends Curse. That's why I've come to find it. And every time I've used it, I haven't complained, right? But what it does is, after attacking, there's a 35% chance you get to launch a bonus attack using that character's basic ability. And it's only triggered once per turn. That's fine. That's still quite a bit. 35% chance doesn't seem like a lot, but it happens way more than you think, right? So who you want to use this on is someone who has an amazing basic. I could go over 60 characters who have great basics, right? But a lot of characters, their basic sets up their kit. So there are lots of characters that this is the best set to put on. Once again, talk to your peers, because I can't name all the characters that have them. But people like Santis, people like Imogen. Imogen is not great, but her basic sets up her whole entire kit, right? So you'd be surprised that this is used more than it isn't. It doesn't sound that great on paper, but it's one of the best sets in the entire game. If you have Cursed, save as many Curses as you can, because this isn't as prevalent. It's not easy to get. So if you have a Cursed gear, keep a hold of it, because you will find out that you're going to use it down the road, more towards the end game. Alright, next up we have the Revival set. It requires 4 pieces to make. It restores 10% of max health at the start of the turn, or 20% if under 50% health. This is also a really good set that you can use for, support or healers. It's all about keeping them alive, right? If you have a healer, you want them to be the last one to die. If you have a support champion who puts Invincible out, you want them to stay alive. So every time they take a turn, they're gaining health. And then they gain twice the health when they get below 50% health. This is a great set. There's a lot of good healing support type gear like this, and I can't really tell you which one's the best, because they're all pretty solid. I'm sure they work better on certain characters, but you could put this Revival set on almost anybody, and it's going to still make you happy, right? Because you're constantly healing without making a healer heal them. So Revival set is definitely a pretty fun set, and it's definitely worth trying it out on some of your healers. Maybe even people like William. I wouldn't suggest putting on William, but just some really good support people like Joseph and other things like that. Alright, so at Witch of the Wind, our first one, we have a Raptor set. It only takes 2 pieces of gear to make, and it gives you plus 20% focus per set. So if you put 6 pieces of gear with the Raptor set, you can have up to 60% focus. Do I think that's necessary on any character? Not really. But if you have someone putting out a lot of debuffs, it's essential you have focus. Focus is what makes you land that debuff, right? Land that stun. Things like that. So anyone who does a lot of stunning, mostly a debuffer, like Hollands, like the new Akubi. I mean, there's all kinds of people in here that land debuffs. Even if it's 1 debuff on a basic, they still need focus to land that consistently. Even if it says in their kit, 100%, it'll land it, you still have to have focus to do that. But I seem to be able to find enough focus on secondaries that I don't need to stack it set-wise. I will usually put like 1 set on somebody, like a Poisoner. Poisoners are going to be the ones that really need this focus, right? You're going to use this a lot. There's a lot of debuffers out there, so make sure you're keeping your good Raptor sets, because you will use them. So next up is one of my favorite. I don't see a lot of people using them, but I like it a lot, and that's the Assassin set. I think the only problem is it costs 4 pieces of gear to use. But what it does is attacks have a 50% chance to deal bonus 35% damage. Okay, so there's a pro and a con to this. So you only have a 50% chance for that to happen, right? Well, you do a lot of attacks in this game. Every battle, you do a lot of attacks. So you have a 50% chance. That's 1 out of 2 chances, right? And so the pro to that is you're putting 35% damage on everything. Not just an AoE, not just a basic. On every attack you do, you have a chance to do 35% more damage. I love this set. I don't hear a lot of people putting this on anyone, but I think that it's one of the best sets in the game. Alright, so next up we have a Faith set. I really like this set. It requires 4 pieces of gear to make, and it converts 50% of healing provided into a shield that lasts for 1 turn. So obviously this is strictly for healers, right? But something I was confused about with this set was I thought anytime anything healed, you're getting shield on top of that. That's not true. So for Blackhorn, for instance, I have this set on him. He does 1 healing move that just heals people, right? His ultimate. That has shield on the end. But like whenever his totem is passively healing, it's not adding that to it. It has to be an actual healing move, if that makes sense. If someone's just passively healing, it's not going to work on that. So just make sure you know that. Still, this is amazing for healers. That protection is like one of the best things in the game. It's hard to get around if you slap it on some people, and that extra protection goes a long way. So definitely keep the Faith set in mind when you have a healer. I think this would be maybe the best set to put on any healer, but my opinion is mine. Everyone has their own. I could be wrong, but I feel like this is the best set for a pure healer. Alright, so we have 3 more to go. Gemini Dragon. So the first one we have is a guard set. It only requires 2 pieces of gear. What it does is it grants a shield with strength equal to 30% of max health for 3 turns at the start of the battle. Bonuses from multiple sets do not stack. So even though you only have to have 2 pieces of gear, it still won't stack. So it makes no sense to put any more than 2 pieces on there. That's still really good. You know, how many times are you playing a battle and you just get instantly deleted right from the start? And if you could just block that damage, you could probably do well, right? You just have to get past that first part. This goes a long way. What I think about is like Endless Trial. Maybe Arena. I don't hear a lot of people having a guard set. I know some people put it on Nathalia and stuff like that, but that's the only 2 places I could really think of this doing you much good is in Arena or in Endless Trial. I mean, it could do you good anywhere, but then again, do you want to sacrifice that for some attack or something, right? And most of your healers, most of your support characters will be built for durability, but this isn't a bad set. I just haven't messed with guard much, but I might throw some on like my William or something, right? Let's see, but the thing is I don't have problems with them dying. The only ones that die first are my attackers. Well, you want more attack than you want survivability on your attackers. So it's a strange set. It does have its place on some niche characters, but it's not the best in-game set there is. Next up, we have the Divine set. It requires 4 pieces of gear, and what it does is the character has a 30% chance to launch a counterattack with their basic. You won't use this one as much as others, but there's still some really good characters that can benefit from this. So don't throw it away, keep it around. It's also kind of hard to get. I don't have very much of it myself. This is great for, once again, those characters who have bleeds on their basic. For people like Tia who can put Frostbite out on her basic. When one of the character's basics makes them better and they want to use it as much as possible, like I talked about the other piece earlier, this is great because you're counterattacking. You're using that basic as much as you can. The thing about that is like if you have William, you don't really need it, right? Because William puts counterattack amongst other things. But some people might need this. And it's only a 30% chance, but you'll find that it happens a lot more than what it looks like on paper. So not a bad set, but I think there's a lot better options out there. But there's going to be those few characters that thrive under the Divine set. Alright guys, last set here, and one of my favorites too. So the Rebel set requires 4 pieces of gear to make, and I love it. It's not the best in dungeons, it's not the best against big bosses, but if you have to deal with waves or campaigns or bounties or Void Tower, this is awesome set, man. Awesome. So what it does is your attacks have a 20% chance to stun an enemy for 1 turn. 20% doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're in battle taking lots of turns, it happens way more frequently than you think. My best character that has this is Tia. If you don't have a stun set on Tia, you're missing out. Because what Tia does anyways is she's putting Frostbite out, putting Frozen, stunning characters anyways, and then she's having a chance to stun other characters while she's freezing them. It's insane with Tia. It will probably work with other people too. One thing I don't know though, and I don't think that works, is if someone does an AoE on them, I don't think you can stun everyone. I could be wrong, but the way it seems to work is if you do an AoE on everyone and you hit that stun, it only stuns one person. I could be wrong, let me know if I am, but that seems how it works. It only stuns one person during AoE. Either way, if you have a character that's really just good at campaigns, waves, and stuff like that, this is an awesome set to have on, because stun is, you know, underrated. Now, if you're going into a dungeon boss, it doesn't matter because you can't stun a boss, right? So that doesn't really matter. But Tia isn't like a boss kind of character, right? She's there to control the waves and all that good stuff and make it easier, and so you're not taking all the damage and your team's getting around. She's freezing, she's stunning. So I love the Rebel set. I will say that there's still only a few characters that you'd really want to put it on, so it may not be the most convenient and like most used, but if you put it in the right place, it's a blast. Alright guys, that's my video. I just want to go over for the beginners what they're about, what they do, where to use them, and kind of have a broad idea of doing it. If you want to know exactly who to use it on, who should get this and what should I put on my Ever, what should I do this, you've got to ask your guildmates, you've got to ask your friends, you've got to ask your peers. Get into a Discord that has a big community, like mine, no pun intended. Come by, we have lots of knowledgeable people, we can help you out individually. But if I did that with this video, we would be here for 7 hours straight, trying to go over every single character and what to put on them. That's for kind of videos that like do a Tia video, do an Ever video, do a Hydricia video, do a Zatlux video, and then I could break it down for you. But those videos will come eventually when I've tested them out more and know what to say. But anyways, hopefully this helps you guys. Let me know what you thought. Any other pointers that you want to put down below, let me know. Once again, come by my Discord. There's over 100 people that are just like me, that are even more knowledgeable than me, that can help you if you're a beginner. And hey, if you're in game and you're watching this, I appreciate you guys. Also come by. If you need a guild, come by the Discord, say hi, and we have an alliance. We have 5 Bone Thugs guilds, and we'll get you in. And if they fill up, I'll make a 6th. If that fills up, I'll make a 7th. It's all good. I don't care if you're level 1 or level 100, we'll get you in. With that being said, I love you all. Thank you all for the support, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.